Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking with JoAnn Conner, which is a local author, many different hats here in the community. JoAnn, thanks for coming on.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a while trying to get you in here, so finally able to get you in here.
Busy people.
You are very busy. Looking over your bio, looking over all the things that you're involved with, you got many hats that you wear.
It's kind of in my genes. My whole family is this way. We are blessed to be able to be very active, and we were raised that you give back to your community and you family first, but part of that is to take care of your neighbors too.
Very awesome. Well, JoAnn, tell me where were you born? Tell me your story, how you got to where you're at now.
Well, as long as you're not trying to steal my identity, because I used to do that too. I used to do identity theft education. I was actually a military brat. My father was in the military, and I was born in Florida and moved to California when I was 6 months old. Raised down in the orange groves. My grandfather had orange groves and cattle and horses, and that's kind of the background for my books. And we just learned to work hard and grow some of our food and go to school and study, and that was in Southern California. And then many years later, I moved up to Tahoe and spent some time up there raising my family. And then they basically all left for better jobs. And here I am down here now, close to my family.
Where is that? Where you were a teacher, history and English teacher in Tahoe?
Yes and no. I started teaching in Banning, California, many years ago, and then went back to Riverside to teach, and then up to Tahoe and did some teaching up there, and then came back down here with the intention to just write more books and play with my grandkids, and got asked within a month if I would take a long-term teaching position, and did that for another 3 years, and then finally just said, I need to spend more time with my family and write some books. But as you can see, I have this volunteer streak running through me hard, and felt like I needed to get out there and do even more.
So history and English, obviously two separate subjects. Kind of, one teacher would kind of stay on that path, and teacher on the English side stay on that path. But you've merged those two into your writing skills as well.
Absolutely. I've always been fascinated by history, always studied history. My brother taught history as well. I've taught history to elementary, middle school, high school, and then my degree's in English. And so that kind of fell naturally for me to be teaching English classes as well. I've traveled a lot to historical sites and really enjoyed that, and an avid reader of information about the Revolutionary War, Civil War. Not so much modern history, although I try to keep aware of what's going on. My fascination was with Old West history in particular, and I think that had something to do with the fact my grandfather was born in 1898 and told us stories when we were growing up about what it was like back then.
Wow. Isn't that just a cherished memory of just those? You wish you can get those things back. Have it on a podcast like this to where you can live and refer back to it often.
Oh, absolutely. And therefore, I'm also on the Atascadero Historical Society board, and we're looking at recording some of the older storytellers, and I'm working on a book on Mabel Lewis, because nobody's written anything about Mabel, but she was an amazing woman. I also was president of the South Lake Tahoe Historical Society, and we did some recordings of some of the elders. I also have taught a class at the recreation complex on Save the Stories. People have amazing things to tell their children and their descendants, but they don't. And then after they're gone, others, with my own father, we were talking about who was going to write the obituary, and they said, well, you're the writer. And my brother said, well, I remember he built a Model A from scratch, and the rest of us are going, he did? So those kinds of things that you can write in short stories, just write a few paragraphs. It doesn't have to be a book. People think they have to start a memoir and that it has to go chronologically. It does not. You can just write these stories and then you have those beautiful things for your family.
What were some of your inspirations getting into like how far back did you start actually writing?
Fourth grade.
Oh,
Well, fourth
okay.
grade is when I won my first award for a fire safety essay of all things,
Oh, really?
school-wide. And then just teachers would pull me aside through my educational career and say, "You really have talent," and I kind of, "Oh, okay." And I won some other awards for Townsend Press Award for an essay when I was teaching second language learners at the college. And finally, I just thought, you know what? I've always said I was going to write a book. So one day I came home and I sat down and I started writing Heartwood, which was my first book, and it's a Western. And it was pretty much inspired by my grandfather, who was a real cowboy. And it just took off from there. But I'm also fascinated by murder mysteries. So I write mostly Westerns and murder mysteries.
Do you ever link those two together?
Oh, yeah. In the mountain, you have a modern day cowboy cop, and he's in Tahoe and he's trying to stop the theft of Native American artifacts. I spent 4 years working for the Native American tribes and saw that artifacts were being stolen. And once they're removed from our country, they're pretty much gone. But it's difficult to catch the thieves, and very little is done to them once they are caught. And I thought that was something that needed to be highlighted. So I wrote the book, The Mountain, about the sheriff who's trying to protect the archaeologist, who is the only one who can identify the people that are stealing the artifacts.
So you brought a couple books here.
I did.
One being Blood on the Timber Trail,
Yes.
right? You see that. And then the other one is Coyote Man,
Yes, sir.
which this one is a mystery.
Yes.
So a Western and a mystery.
Yes.
Tell me about those books and the inspiration for writing those.
Well, Blood on the Timber Trail is, I used to do historical reenactment in Virginia City with some friends. And so
Love that place.
I love Virginia City, still have some friends there. Outlaw Dave is one of my friends there. He's famous in Virginia City. If you ever go there, ask about Outlaw Dave, and everybody knows who he is. And we used to do historical reenactment, so of course I wanted to know more about the history. And when I wrote Blood on the Timber Trail, I went back to do a book signing at the Union Brewery, which was from the 1850s and is still standing. And I asked him, I said, "Do you think you had a sheriff or a marshal in 1867? And they go, "Well, I don't know, probably a sheriff." And I said, "Nope, you're one of the few Western towns that actually had a police chief, and his name is in the book." So I like to incorporate those bits of historical fiction into the book. In the first book, Heartwood, my first Western, I used the name Zachary Tinkham, who was the sheriff of Bridgeport during 1865, where that book is based. So I love to put in those little details that have to do with history of the area that is accurate in weaving it into the story. So that's how my Westerns came to be. And my murder mysteries, I've always liked, some of the big names in murder mystery. I love C.J. Box. I like Craig Johnson. I like some of those other authors. And my brothers, I had two brothers that were cops. And so I would listen to them tell these stories around the table while we were getting ready for Sunday dinner at my mom's. And I just started thinking, yeah, that'd make a really good story. Coyote Man is inspired by a real case that they worked in Tahoe. And some of the things that happen in the book don't seem like they should be happening, but they are true. You know, the man actually walked into the police station and told them this guy was killed with the gun he had, but they couldn't prove he did it, so he walked right back out. And that's in the book.
And
So-
how did you research and how did you find all this information for your books that you've written here?
Well, there's the internet, and then I know a lot of, with Blood on the Timber Trail and my Westerns, I have a lot of rancher friends, and I have a lot of people in my family that actually lived a cowboy style lifestyle, and so I was around that growing up, so that came naturally to me. And it's actually been some of my frustration in dealing with editors at publishing companies, because I was assigned an editor who didn't know anything about horses, and she was always arguing with me about, well, why doesn't he just keep going? And I said, well, the horse has to rest, the horse has to be fed and watered, and the horse has to rest even if the man keeps going. So I was raised with it, and then you deal with people that don't
know anything
understand
about
that
it.
lifestyle. So that's frustrating. But I look it up on the internet. I talk to people. I talk to old timers. I remember what my grandfather told me for my Westerns. I visited a lot of historical sites and read their information and talked to some of their old timers. And with the murder mysteries, I have a lot of friends that were in law enforcement. And so I will call them up and say, what kind of a shotgun or what kind of a rifle will actually shoot through a steel door? Because I like to get my facts straight. So when I wrote Nightmares Calling, which is a story, a murder mystery set in Tahoe, inspired by my time working with high school at-risk and gang students, I had a case where the guy was going to come through the steel door, and I called one of my friends who used to work in Border Patrol and for the FBI. I said, what kind of a gun do I use? Because it has to be accurate. My brother has read my books. My brother is a good source as well for anything that has to do with guns or with cop procedure. And then on this one, this is actually a friend of mine on this cover with a real yellow boy rifle and a Navy Colt revolver. And Michael Dugan was a sheriff's deputy in Los Angeles, and he had the nickname Gun because he can fix guns, and he has a lot of knowledge about the old ones too.
So I hear you, so a lot of your books are written with an inspiration in Tahoe.
Yes, because I lived there for 40 years. So
Do you have anything that you wrote while since you've been here or on the horizon?
yes, I do. The Mabel Lewis book, for one, which is interesting because I've been able to find some things. Her E.G. Lewis's great nephew, Tom Lewis, still lives in the area. And I found some things that surprised him. I'm not looking for sensationalism. I'm looking for details that other people don't know and had not uncovered. And I have found the verification for those details that are going into this book. So that's interesting. But I started a new Detective Frank Riley book called Silent Witness, and it's inspired by some slides for an old slide projector where somebody has caught the murder on the slides in the background of the family picture.
Oh, really?
So, and that's set right here in Atascadero.
Because I mean, you think back into like just in the last 20 years here in the North County. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's unsolved.
Oh, there is. There is. I hesitate to get into real crimes because there's so many different facets to that, especially if it's a cold case. But in the case of Silent Witness, it is a cold case, and it goes back a couple of decades, which is why I'm using slide projector stills, I guess you call them,
Right.
because nobody uses those anymore.
But you look at like say the Kristen Smart
Yes.
podcast,
Yes.
had that maybe not happened, would that case be solved?
Yes.
So, there's really, just from outside sources, you think the detectives and the law enforcement, stuff like that, they have all the tools and everything that they could possibly dig and solve or not solve. And you take somebody that did their outside research and helped to solve this case.
Yes.
That's
yes,
amazing.
that does happen. There's
It could
so
happen
many
with your book.
details.
So you got these books, and so now that's what you're doing as your mainstay, as far as like that's your daily thing. But you also have all these different hats that you wear. You got Central Coast Veterans helping veterans now.
Well, I work with David Cruz from Central Coast Veterans Helping Veterans because I am the chairperson for the Vets Outreach Program for the Atascadero Elks Lodge. And we do our best to help veterans in whatever way we can. We're very committed to honoring their service. We've found some veterans that we got a welcome home grant, so we could supply them with things like pots and pans and dishes and can openers and that kind of thing that they need to get into a house to live. But there was no furniture. There's no place for them to get furniture. So I had the idea that, well, we have all these people that have this really good furniture that they just, it started when a lady looked at me and she goes, I have this couch and this is only a home I come and visit sometimes, so it hasn't been sat on, but I really don't like it very much. Do you know anybody who could use it? And I went, yeah, I think we do. So we took that couch and a throw rug or an area rug and a lamp to a veteran who was sitting on the floor. And he had nothing in his apartment except a bed. And that just made me so sad. We decided that we needed to do more. And I have this incredible team of people at the Elks Lodge who have volunteered. I obviously can't lift all these couches and things, but these guys come and they lift these couches. They bring their pickup trucks. We pick them up. We take couches and chairs and tables. We walked into, there's a Korean War vet right here in Templeton. Korean War. Think about how old this guy is. And we went into his house and he had a camp style chair, the saggy ones, not the ones that were firm, that were supportive, but a saggy one that you have to kind of struggle to get out of. He's sitting in this camp chair and he has a table and a bed, and that's pretty much it. We took him a dresser with a mirror, and we took him a TV. He didn't have a TV, he didn't have books, he didn't have a radio.
Wow.
And we said, well, what do you do all day? And he goes, well, I just sit here and think. And I'm thinking that's not a good scenario for anyone.
JoAnn, can I ask you a question? Do you find like a lot of veterans? I mean, we hear the story all the time. You know, the veterans aren't getting taken care of. There's on the streets, and there's so many of these different resources and grants and availability to them. Do you find that it's more so that they don't know it's available, like some of these resources available to them, or are they too proud to not want to reach out and say, I need help?
That's a really good question. I think it's a combination of many different factors. Number one, they don't know the resources that are there. So we did just recently put on a vets fair at the Elks Lodge on February 28th, and that was spearheaded by Jerry Dolan, the wife of our leader at the time. She put on that vets fair to bring in all these resources, and we fed the vets free food, and we made a meal for them that we sent home, and we got a really good turnout for that, so they could come and find the resources. But the other issue is not only not knowing that there are resources, but I've talked to many caseworkers that said he just comes this close to missing the qualification to get furniture. So we can put him in and we can buy him a bed or some sheets and pillows, but we can't get him anything to sit on or anything to watch or, a bookcase to put his books or his pictures on. And this is where we decided to try to fill that need. I also think that sadly, I have veterans in my family. My nephews was in Afghanistan, and they go all the way back to the 1700s in my family. And they just, if they don't have a family or a community that helps take care of them, some of these people are all alone, and there just aren't resources for them. It's sad that a veteran might be denied surgery or treatment or help, but that happens too.
Do you think that's the fault of the government, the procedure, these veterans should be, everything and anything should be available to them.
I agree.
There shouldn't be missing by this much. That should be completely eliminated.
I agree. Our veterans should come first. They should be well taken care of. But I think that, again, is a combination of things. Manpower is an issue. we don't have the staffing in some of these cases to fill all of these needs. We don't have volunteers to help pick up the slack because everybody's working 2 and 3 jobs. We don't. Our government has not been responsive enough, in my opinion. I think you get into these layers of red tape the higher you get up, and then the veterans fall through the cracks, and that should never happen, but it does.
Is that more so like in like your California? Is there like other states that are much more available? Other than these red tapes or these barely missing qualifications, or is that across the board?
Well, yes and no. I think we have a big problem with it here in California, and I'm not sure why, because I've lived here most of my life. But I have friends all across the United States that I've known since we were kids. It's the value of Facebook is being able to connect and stay connected with social media. But they tell me the same thing, that they go to the VA and they get the runaround, or they can't get this help, or it's really sad that it's not across the board good treatment for our veterans. For example, we just had somebody give us a lot of like scooters and wheelchairs and so on, and there are veterans that they don't have that covered for some reason. So we can help them. We can give those to them.
So this is a fairly new program that you guys are you just got involved with.
Yes.
So now you guys are looking for, hopefully somebody to say, hey, we got a big warehouse to, help you house all these pieces of furniture and wheelchairs and stuff like that you guys can go out there and retain all these to give them out to our veterans. Correct?
And that would be so much easier because my team it makes me want to cry. These guys are just so amazing. One of them's wife comes along and we carry in the lamps and the area rugs and dust everything off, so we're leaving it nice and clean for them. But these guys volunteer their pickup trucks, their time, their muscle, their gas, and they're running all over. They're going over here to pick something up, and then they're going here to deliver it, or we're going here to pick it up, to take it here to drop it off for a while, and then later we have to come back and pick it up and go deliver it. And if we could streamline that process, it would be so much more efficient, and I wouldn't have to feel like so guilty about overusing these volunteers.
Well, we definitely got to figure out a better method to take care of our veterans.
Yes.
So regardless of how that is, who it comes from, where it comes from, but we definitely, as a whole, as a society, needs to figure out a better method and a way to make sure that they aren't sleeping on the streets and not sleeping on the floor, and like you said, the gentleman with a camp chair.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know what that answer is.
I don't either, except I know when we were growing up, it was more your community took care of you. So if our government is too big or too overworked or dropping the ball, then from my point of view, and I think I'm pretty safe in saying this from the Elks' point of view, we need to do better. We need to get out there and help more. We're constantly growing at the Elks Lodge, and we're constantly supporting things like veterans and first responders, and the things we do for kids, the support that we give. For example, Graybots is that little team of smart young minds, has already won first and second place in the state of California, and they're going to world competition. And they are the only team that I hear them announcing that is totally locally sponsored by service organizations and parents. The other teams that they're announcing, SpaceX, Disney, they're sponsoring those teams, and our kids are getting it done. And we give to FFA, we give to the sports teams, and so that's one of the things I love about being an elk, is that we get to go out and help so many people in this community, and there's so many hardworking people that are willing to give their time and energy and money to do that, and that's kind of making it a community thing.
Well, JoAnn, so we'll use that as a segue into what. So tell me about the Elks. Tell me what is the Elks Lodge?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It's a group of people. We have 555 people that belong to our Atascadero Elks Lodge, and we have many programs. But again, our focus is kids. How do we help kids? We help scouting. We help Graybots. We help the athletic teams. We help the FFA. We do scholarships every year to try to get the kids a little boost to go off and study their choice, their field of choice. But we also really support our first responders and definitely support our veterans. Um, I'm getting a lot of support with the way we're ramping up this program at the Elks Lodge. This is not me. This is not something that I'm doing. This is something our lodge is doing, and we currently have a basket inside our lodge that allows us to collect razors. We had one veteran. He wanted razor blades, shampoo, and soap so he could clean up to go to work, go to get a job. He needed pants that were not sweatpants so he could go to work. And these resources just aren't always there for them. So the Elks is a fraternal organization. They started letting women in the 90s, and they haven't, I don't think they've regretted it.
Well, no, because from what I see, the women do a lot of the work.
Yeah, they do. But we have some amazing people in that lodge and from all kinds of backgrounds. And they just, it's almost like a second family with our feeling towards each other.
Do you have to be have any type of military experience or anything like that to be a member?
No, we require you be an American citizen and you believe in God. And if you don't, it's okay. You don't have to come and join us. But if you want to join us, those are the two first prerequisites.
But you have a lot of those gentlemen wearing those old, USS hats and Korea hats and World War II, but a lot of those conflict hats in the Elks Lodge.
We have a lot of veterans in the Elks Lodge, and that's it's nice. And they are some of the most dedicated people that devote their volunteer time.
And I will say, if you ever get a tri-tip sandwich or any of the barbecue from the Elks Lodge, it's probably one of the best barbecues you're going to ever have.
You better believe it. We do Santa Maria barbecue, tri-tip all the time. We get a lot of events that book in there for memorials or for birthday parties or wedding celebrations, and they'll often ask us to supply the food. And we have some really good barbecue, chicken.
So there's
ribs.
always that that question amongst Elks Lodge, members that are not, or people that are not members. So the Elks Lodge, once you're a member of the Elks Lodge, you have access to all the Elks Lodges across the United States.
This is true.
So you can go in there as a guest, or they're camping. Some of the best places to camp, on the most gorgeous rivers and locations in the United States, that these Elks Lodges are probably own the property of these lodges, correct?
This is correct. And that is, some people come in and their major focus is they want to go camping. And so that's okay too. If they want to come in, and we have groups of elks that go camping together. So again, it's developing that sense of community and support. And we don't discuss politics at the lodge. So, the person you're going camping could be on the complete opposite of the political spectrum, but that's not where our focus is. Our focus is a large group of people coming together to try to figure out how we can help our community be a better place.
And I think everybody can get behind veterans and kids.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, so JoAnn, tell me a little bit about the book that you and your granddaughter wrote.
Oh, Sneaky Sneakers. During COVID, I moved down here just before COVID really ramped up. I was helping to take care of my granddaughters while my daughters worked. And they would come over to my house and we would do these projects. And I had an 11-year-old granddaughter who liked to draw, and she was getting a little bit depressed because she couldn't be around her friends. She couldn't go to school. And I said, well, I used to have a preschool when I lived in Riverside, and I had written these poems that I used with the children in the preschool. So I gave her some of them, and I said, why don't you just draw some pictures and see how this comes out? So she liked Sneaky Sneakers the best. I had 2 sneakers until today when one decided to sneak away. Where can that sneaky rascal be? He up and snuck away from me. Is that him out there in the yard? I snatch him up to join his pard. And she drew the sneakers sitting on a lounge chair with lemonade, and she pictured him together. Then at the very last page of the story, he's on the feet of the person, but the person doesn't have a head, so you can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. And that book has done very well too.
So JoAnn, your books, do you buy them from you directly? Do you have like can you get them on Amazon? I mean, what are do you have them on platforms?
You can get them from Amazon. Barnes and Noble in San Luis Obispo has a couple, and I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but
Oh,
you can
nice.
order them through there. You can also get them from me. I do probably an average of 12 to 15 shows locally per year, and we have one coming up this weekend at the Elks Lodge. And I will have a booth there. I'm going to try to be in it because I'm running that show, but that is one of the places I go. I do the city's holiday boutique. I do Trinity Lutheran has a holiday bazaar. I do Harmony. I do Creston, and I've developed kind of a little following for some of my books. So it was really cute with Detective Frank Riley. One of the ladies, I was at a group of women, and she and two other people walked in. She goes, "Have you read her books? Did you know she's an author?" They said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I really like Detective Riley. I want to meet him." And I'm like, "You know he's not real, right?" So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So before we get into what's coming up here at the Elks Lodge, so would you say that this book right here, Blood on the Timber Trail, is that kind of an inspiration from one of your favorite authors in the past?
Louis L'Amour. I grew
Louis
up with
L'Amour.
a grandfather born in 1898. He had all the Louis L'Amour and the Zane Grey books, and we didn't have a lot of money when we were growing up, so we didn't get a TV until I was kind of older. But we had library cards, and we had a grandfather who had a lot of Western books. So I read almost all of Louis L'Amour's books and Zane Grey's, and I just thought, that's the kind of Western I want to write. I want to write a good story. I always learned something from Louis L'Amour. For example, you fringe the buckskin jackets because it helps the water run off more instead of soaking into the leather. And I didn't know that until I read Louis L'Amour. And
Interesting.
I wanted to put those kinds of details into my books and write accurate stories about how cowboys really worked.
Very cool. So what do you guys got coming up this weekend?
Home Garden and Craft Show. It's the first one the Elks Lodge has done in Atascadero, and we're going to see how it plays out. We have about 27 vendors. We gave a free space to the American Legion Auxiliary to sell poppies, so you can come and support vets. David Cruz from Central Coast Veterans Helping Veterans is going to be there. We also have the Graybots. They're going to be there, and you'll get a chance to meet them and find out a little bit more about what they do. But we have everything from art prints. The Elegant Tomboy has some really wonderful ranch prints, and alpaca socks from one of our vendors, and I'm looking forward to checking those out because those sound like they'd be really comfortable. I'll be there. We have some people doing. I've got a friend who does Fern Shed, and she takes old belt buckles, like cowboy belt buckles, and she makes them into necklaces that are really quite beautiful.
Oh,
So it's a
really?
real variety of.
So able to take some of those old belt buckles that Grandpa won in the 50s and 60s rodeo to turn them into a jewelry.
Yeah, when the leather goes bad and all you got left is a buckle, then you can make a necklace. And we have a man who will make, I'm going to have some little magnets that have my logo on it. It's an owl sitting on an open book, and it says J. Conner Books, home of wild westerns and mysterious murders. And he's doing some magnets for me that I'll be giving away at the show. So,
Very cool. And this happens this weekend at the Tascadero Elks Lodge.
yes, at 1516 El Camino Real, the Tascadero Elks Lodge. From 10 to 3, free admission. We have some door prizes to give away. Farm Bureau women gave us some little bouquets of lavender that we'll be giving away to some of the people that come in. Farm Bureau women will be there selling their famous beans and cookbooks. And
Famous, huh?
yeah, famous.
All
Those
right.
bags of beans are pretty famous.
So is this the same? I know the Farm Bureau Women is the last chapter in California.
Yes, last chapter standing, and we're growing.
And so, but you said famous beans.
Well, they're pretty well known around here. People come and look for them and ask them. I guess they're not famous to you. We'll have to fix that.
I'd love famous beans.
Yeah.
I would love to taste famous beans. So they're going to be, or will they be selling them there?
Yeah, they're bags. You have to cook
Okay.
them, but they have recipes on the back for you can make soup. Sometimes when I do a donation basket to help a silent raffle or drawing at a charity, I'll put westerns in there with a bag of the beans and some other things because that's what cowboys would have done, is cooked beans.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome. So will the Elks Lodge be selling like food and beverages as well for people to come in?
They will.
So it's open up to the public.
It is definitely open to the public, 10 to 3, no admission charge. It's free. And the Elks are going to be cooking up some, I think, muffins and coffee in the morning. And then I'm not sure what they're doing for lunch. I did delegate that and say, you just fix whatever you want and sell it and make some money for the lodge. So
Awesome.
it's really a good team over there.
Very
And
cool.
then we'll have a few other people that are selling different baked goods. Not sure if the Gray Bots are doing cotton candy, but they'll definitely be there to tell everybody what they do.
So this is the Elks Lodge first show.
The first home and garden show. We've done other events, but this is the first home garden and craft show. We have another one already in the works for fall, but that's kind of what I did for a while too, was special events production.
So Elks Lodge located towards the north end of Atascadero.
Yeah, it's between Del Rio and the freeway.
So
So-
heading off to Home Depot, it's going to be on your left-hand side.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Home Depot's on one end and Del Rio Shopping Center on the other, and the Elks Lodge in between.
Very cool.
So
Well, JoAnn, thanks so much
Thank
for
you
coming
very
in.
much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
for sure.
it.
And I'm looking forward to, I haven't read a book in so long, but I'm gonna, I know you brought these for me and Eric, but I'm gonna take
Yes.
this one so Eric
Okay.
can read about the detective. He likes that detective stuff.
Well, they are on Kindle, and there's a couple on audio too.
Very cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed our show today, JoAnn. So thanks so much and what you do and all the many hats that you wear. And really like to help to figure out a way to get that voice out there for what you guys are doing for our veterans.
Thank you
So-
very much. We really appreciate that.
100%. I
Okay.
think we need to put more effort on, making a focus on our veterans so that way they're not sleeping on the floor.
I agree. No veteran should be on the streets or on the floor, and no veteran should be going hungry.
Absolutely.
So
Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
We really appreciate it.
thank you very much.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, this Saturday coming up at the Atascadero Elks Lodge. You don't want to miss this from 10 to 3 p.m. It's their first home and garden craft show. Come out, check it out. Check out the Elks Lodge. Support these local vendors that are making some really cool stuff. If you guys want to donate and be a part of the Elks Lodge or this veteran movement, guys, do that as well. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalar Wine Travelers Hideaway. Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, MGP Coatings, 1776 Roofing and Gutters, Premier Ag, Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borhone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Angela Hickson Port Photography, Airflow Filter Services, Templeton Heating and Air, and Atascadero Chamber. Thanks again, guys. See you next time.
Your home is your castle. It keeps you safe when the weather's rough. But if you're not taking care of your roof, things could get a little wild. 1776 Roofing with RoofMax will fix up the rough spots, treat the shingles, and give it years more life at a fraction of what a new roof costs. At TLC, your roof needs now. Call 805-900-1776.
When it comes to comfort, trust the team that's been keeping the North County homes cozy since 1995. At Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning, they're your hometown pros right here in Templeton. From tune-ups to repairs, remodels to new construction, even duct replacements and attic ventilation, they got you covered. Call your neighbors at 805-434-3741. Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning. Local, trusted, dependable.
Hi, I'm Glenn McWilliams.
And I'm Annie. As sixth-generation farmers, we understand what it takes to keep a ranch, a farm, and a community growing strong.
And that's why we started Premier Ag to bring quality feed, trusted Western wear, and real service to the Central Coast.
From hay delivery across the county to hands-on support for local youth and ag programs, we're proud to give back to the community that raised us.
And when we say from seed to stable, we mean it. We've walked the fields, we've fed the animals, and now we're here to serve families just like yours.
Come visit us at 1041 Paso Robles Street in Paso Robles and experience the difference of a store built by farmers for farmers.
From seed to store, where quality meets country.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pet. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Looking for a top quality concrete coating in SLO County? Hi, I'm Matt Gifford with MGP Coatings, your trusted local expert in durable, long-lasting concrete coatings backed by Pentec's limited lifetime warranty. Whether it's residential or commercial, we deliver expert craftsmanship, premium products, and unbeatable customer service. When we say we make concrete great again, we mean it. As a locally owned, community-driven company, we take pride in transforming garages, patios, pool decks, wineries, and even interior spaces into stunning, functional areas. Are you ready to upgrade your space? Give us a call at 805-952-5301. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or visit mattgiffordpainting.com. Join the MGP Coating family today.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.
3, 2,